The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not contain a general requirement mandating that all electrical work must be performed by a licensed electrician. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards for safe electrical installation, but it's important to understand that it's not a law itself. The NEC is adopted and enforced by state and local jurisdictions. Because the NEC is not a law, it does not contain the licensing requirements. Licensing of electricians is usually handled at the state or local level. Therefore, the requirement for a licensed electrician typically comes from the authority having jurisdiction, also known as the AHJ, which could be a city, county, or state government. These authorities adopt and amend the NEC to fit their specific needs and often add their own rules, including those related to licensing. To find out if electrical work must be performed by a licensed electrician, you must consult the electrical codes and regulations of the specific location where the work is being done. These codes are often based on the NEC, but they can have additional requirements or modifications. California Electrical Code, Section 340.1, mandates that all electrical work shall be performed by a licensed electrical contractor unless specifically exempted by the code or other regulations from the authority having jurisdiction. To elaborate on the NEC and its relationship with local and state regulations, firstly, the NEC serves as a baseline for electrical safety. It outlines the minimum requirements for electrical installations to protect people and property from hazards such as fire and electrical shock. Secondly, state and local governments adopt the NEC, often with amendments, to create their own electrical codes. These amendments can be more stringent than the NEC, reflecting local conditions and priorities. Thirdly, the authority having jurisdiction, or AHJ, is responsible for enforcing the electrical code. This authority can be a building inspector, electrical inspector, or other official designated by the local government. The AHJ has the power to interpret the code and to require compliance with its provisions. Fourthly, licensing requirements for electricians are typically established by state or local laws. These laws specify the qualifications, training, and experience required to become a licensed electrician. They may also require electricians to pass an examination to demonstrate their competency. Fifthly, the purpose of licensing is to ensure that electricians have the knowledge and skills necessary to perform electrical work safely and competently. Licensed electricians are held accountable for their work and are subject to disciplinary action if they violate the electrical code or engage in unethical practices. Sixthly, in many jurisdictions, it is illegal for unlicensed individuals to perform electrical work for others. This is to protect the public from unqualified individuals who may perform substandard or unsafe work. Seventhly, when hiring an electrician, it is important to verify that they are properly licensed and insured. You can check with your local licensing board or building department to confirm an electrician's credentials. Eighthly, always obtain a written contract that outlines the scope of work, the materials to be used, and the price. This will help to protect you from disputes and ensure that the work is performed to your satisfaction. Ninthly, if you have any questions or concerns about electrical work being performed in your home or business, contact your local building department or electrical inspector. They can provide guidance and ensure that the work complies with the electrical code. Tenthly, remember that electrical safety is paramount. Never attempt to perform electrical work yourself unless you are qualified and knowledgeable. Always hire a licensed electrician for any electrical work that requires specialized skills or knowledge. Let's delve deeper into some specific aspects of electrical codes and licensing. Firstly, the NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and best practices. The latest edition of the NEC is typically adopted by state and local governments within a few years of its publication. Secondly, some states have reciprocity agreements with other states, allowing licensed electricians to work in multiple states without having to obtain additional licenses. Thirdly, continuing education requirements are common for licensed electricians. This ensures that they stay up to date in the latest codes and technologies. Fourthly, electrical permits are often required for electrical work. These permits allow the AHJ to inspect the work and ensure that it complies with the electrical code. Fifthly, homeowners may be allowed to perform some electrical work on their own homes without a license, but this varies by jurisdiction. It is important to check with your local building department before performing any electrical work. Sixthly, electrical inspections are typically required after electrical work is completed. These inspections are performed by the AHJ to ensure that the work complies with the electrical code. Seventhly, violations of the electrical code can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. It is important to comply with the electrical code to ensure the safety of people and property. Eighthly, the NEC covers a wide range of electrical topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. Ninthly, the NEC is organized into chapters, articles, and sections. Each section contains specific requirements for electrical installations. Tenthly, understanding the NEC can be challenging, but there are many resources available to help, including training courses, online forums, and publications. To provide further clarity, let's explore specific examples of how state and local regulations can differ from the NEC. Firstly, some jurisdictions may require more stringent grounding requirements than the NEC. For example, they may require the use of ground rods in addition to the grounding electrode conductor. Secondly, some jurisdictions may have specific requirements for the installation of smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. These requirements may go beyond what is required by the NEC. Thirdly, some jurisdictions may have restrictions on the type of wiring methods that can be used in certain areas. For example, they may prohibit the use of non-metallic sheaths cable in commercial buildings. Fourthly, some jurisdictions may have specific requirements for the installation of solar panels and other renewable energy systems. These requirements may address issues such as grid interconnection and safety. Fifthly, some jurisdictions may have stricter enforcement of the electrical code than others. This means that they may conduct more frequent inspections and impose harsher penalties for violations. Sixthly, some jurisdictions may have local amendments to the NEC that address specific concerns in their area. For example, they may have amendments related to earthquake protection or flood protection. Seventhly, some jurisdictions may have their own electrical codes that are separate from the NEC. These codes may be more comprehensive or more restrictive than the NEC. Eighthly, it is important to be aware of the specific electrical codes and regulations in your area before performing any electrical work. You can contact your local building department or electrical inspector to obtain this information. Ninthly, always consult with a licensed electrician if you have any questions or concerns about electrical work. They can help you ensure that the work complies with the electrical code and is performed safely. Tenthly, remember that the electrical code is designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. It is important to follow the code to ensure the safety of yourself and others. Now, let's talk more about specific sections within the NEC that are commonly referenced and why understanding them is important, even though the NEC does not dictate licensing. Firstly, Article 90.1 describes the purpose of the NEC, which is the practical safeguarding of persons and property from hazards arising from the use of electricity. Secondly, Article 110 covers general requirements for electrical installations, including workmanship, wiring methods, and equipment. Thirdly, Article 210 covers branch circuits, which are the circuits that supply power to outlets, lighting, and appliances. Fourthly, Article 220 covers the calculation of branch circuit, feeder, and service loads. This is important for determining the correct size of conductors and overcurrent protection devices. Fifthly, Article 230 covers services, which are the conductors and equipment that bring power from the utility company to the building. Sixthly, Article 240 covers overcurrent protection, which includes circuit breakers and fuses. Overcurrent protection is designed to protect conductors and equipment from overloads and short circuits. Seventhly, Article 250 covers grounding and bonding, which are essential for electrical safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip overcurrent protection devices and prevent electrical shock. Eighthly, Article 300 covers wiring methods, which includes the types of cables and raceways that can be used for electrical wiring. Ninthly, Article 310 covers conductors for general wiring. This article includes tables that specify the ampacity of conductors, which is the amount of current that a conductor can safely carry. Tenthly, Article 400 covers flexible cords and cables. Flexible cords and cables are used to connect portable appliances and equipment to the electrical system. Understanding these articles, and others in the NEC, is crucial for ensuring electrical installations are safe and compliant with the code, whether or not a license is specifically required by the NEC itself. Remember that licensing is a separate issue determined by the local AHA. Let's delve into the importance of permits and inspections. Firstly, electrical permits are required for most electrical work to ensure compliance with the electrical code. Secondly, obtaining a permit involves submitting plans and specifications to the local building department for review. Thirdly, the permit fee covers the cost of the plan review and inspections. Fourthly, electrical inspections are conducted by the AHA to verify that the work complies with the electrical code. Fifthly, inspections are typically required at various stages of the project, such as after the wiring is installed but before it is covered up. Sixthly, the inspector will check for things like proper wiring methods, grounding, and overcurrent protection. Seventhly, if the work does not comply with the code, the inspector will issue a correction notice. Eighthly, the contractor must correct the deficiencies and request a re-inspection. Ninthly, once the work passes inspection, the inspector will issue a certificate of occupancy, which allows the building to be occupied. Tenthly, working without a permit can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. Additionally, it can void your insurance coverage and make it difficult to sell your property in the future. Furthermore, let's explore the different types of electrical licenses. Firstly, a journeyman electrician is a licensed electrician who has completed an apprenticeship and is qualified to perform electrical work under the supervision of a master electrician. Secondly, a master electrician is a licensed electrician who has a higher level of experience and knowledge than a journeyman electrician. Master electricians are typically authorized to supervise journeyman electricians and to design electrical systems. Thirdly, an electrical contractor is a licensed business that is authorized to perform electrical work for others. Electrical contractors typically employ journeymen and master electricians. Fourthly, some jurisdictions have specialty licenses for specific types of electrical work, such as low-voltage wiring or fire alarm systems. Fifthly, the requirements for obtaining an electrical license vary by jurisdiction. Typically, applicants must complete an apprenticeship, pass an examination, and have a certain amount of experience. Sixthly, licensed electricians are required to maintain their licenses by completing continuing education courses. Seventhly, licensing boards have the authority to suspend or revoke the licenses of electricians who violate the electrical code or engage in unethical practices. Eighthly, when hiring an electrician, it is important to verify that they have the appropriate license for the type of work you need performed. Ninthly, you can check an electrician's license status with your local licensing board. Tenthly, always ask for proof of insurance before hiring an electrician. Insurance protects you from liability if the electrician is injured on your property or if their work causes damage. To reiterate, while the NEC provides a comprehensive set of standards for electrical safety, it's the state and local regulations that determine whether a licensed electrician is required for specific electrical work. Always consult the relevant codes and regulations in your area and verify the credentials of any electrician you hire to ensure compliance and safety.